Good morning. It's 9 o'clock today. It's Monday, March 21st, 2016. Fellow callers, Mr. Chairman, partners, members of the Executive Committee, and members of the Board of Governors, and our guests, welcome to Lansdowne, Virginia. Stretch that. Welcome to Norfolk, Virginia. And the 43rd CALLERLAB Convention. Thank you very much. We are very pleased to have you here. Please make sure your cell phones are turned off or set to silent, airplane mode, whatever. Before we start, I would like to introduce the folks that really make it work for us here at the convention, as well as to contribute to the home office staff every day of the year. Quite honestly, we're pretty much 7 days a week. First of all, and probably the most important person in this whole room to me at this point in time, my wife, Dana. I can only say, folks, her work's invaluable to us. It's unbelievable what she does for me. Also, Roy Stent, is she here? No. Roy Stent, not here yet. Roy Stent does a lot as a part-time person. She does most of your planning for your convention meals, as well as the editing of our documents, the fantastic work that she's done for us for many years. Our other part-time employee, Jodine Romano, is part-time. She has other jobs too. And so this convention conflicted with a convention she was putting on. She could not come. Sorry for that. We are blessed this year, as we have been the last 3 years, with two couples that are volunteers. And they have helped us tremendously. They're our spark plugs for the convention. Dennis and Judy Grossnickel from Manhattan, Kansas. And Tom and Cindy Hollenberger from Manhattan, Kansas, too. Also, we have a board member that we keep out of trouble and let him help out, and that's Walt Burr. He helps us out from Germany. Back in the back, Walt. Thank you. It is now my pleasure and privilege to present to you the CALLERLAB Chairman of the Board, Vernon Jones.
Thank you. How's everybody doing today? Good, good, good. If you enjoy your convention experience, let me know. If you don't enjoy your convention experience, let Dana know. Or let Donna know. Now then, we need to pay particular attention now, because Dana has put the first thing that I'm supposed to say is that we've got an hour and a quarter, 1 and an hour quarters, 1 and a quarter. Do you know how to spell? No, I don't either. 1 and a quarter hours to complete this, so we got to get moving on it. Each year, we invite representatives from various national and international dancing organizations to join us for our convention. We are honored that many of them have accepted our invitation and are with us today. I would like to introduce them at this time. Would you please stand and remain standing to be recognized as I call your names? And as usual, everybody hold your applause until all the introductions have been made. Representing the United Square Dancers of America, Mike and Pat Matsko. Hold your applause until we're through the whole thing. Representing the 67th National Square Dance Convention in Kansas City, Missouri, Carl and Cindy Boone, General Chairman. Back in the back. Representing the 68th National Square Dance Convention from Atlanta, Georgia. Is that Lewis or Louis? Lewis, thank you. And Angie McClure, General Chairman. Representing the Guild of Pride, Sharon Frank, Executive Director. Well, I didn't know if I was supposed to read that or not. Okay, let's all give them a round of applause and thank them for being here. Each year we have several CALLERLAB members who represent other organizations. We are pleased that these members volunteer to provide representation for these other organizations. I would like to introduce them at this time, and would you please stand and remain standing to be recognized as I called your name. And once again, Hold the applause until we're through everything. The Arts, which stands for Alliance for Round, Traditional, and Square Dance. Betsy and Roy Gatta, Vice President, and Jerry Reed, Executive Secretary. Jerry. Representing CALLERLAB, Roy and Betsy Gatta as Chairman. Stand back up, Roy and Betsy. The European Callers and Teachers Association, Michael Franz. And I'm going to try to pronounce names as best I can, but remember, I only graduated from junior high. Japan Square Dance Association, Hiroshi Nakagawa. Remain standing, Hiroshi. Representing the USA West Convention, David and Ruth Fullaway. Representing the 65th National Square Dance Convention in Des Moines, Iowa, Barry and Anita Johnson, Business Chairman. International Association of Gay Square Dance Clubs, Chris Jensen. The Square Dance Callers Club of Great Britain, Trevor and Chris Day. The Gay Callers Association, Harlan Kerr. I know Harlan's plane didn't land till 8:30, so he's probably running a little late. Representing American Square Dance Magazine, Bill Boyd. And representing the Lloyd Shaw Organization, Bob and Alan Riggs. Everybody make welcome. Thank you for being here. And you may sit down. If you are attending your very first CALLERLAB convention, please stand right now. And don't lie to us, we know who you are. Don't sit down yet. Don't sit down yet, because I'm going to introduce you and you're going to wave to us. There are 24 attendees and partners that are registered. Please identify yourselves as I call your name. Janine Alexander. Yes. June Bartley. Right there, thank you. Dale Chase. And having breakfast. Mary Ellen Cote. Still having breakfast. Well, Paul eats a lot. Connie Cox. Yeah, I said that out loud. Connie Cox. And forgive me, Jim Denigris. Did I do that right? Good. Jim and Lorene Gatta. Any relation to these two? Are you? I'm sorry. Doris Hyde. Back in the back. Jim Klein. Jim's not here yet. Joyce Kutz, up in the front. Art and Amy Levine, back in the back. Bill Mager, or is it Major? Mager? I don't see him yet. Mike and Pat Matsko. Sanichi Mochizuki. Yeah, all right. Lewis and Angie McClure, Marty Northrup, Mike Pogue, Dean Singleton, Jim Smith. Breakfast must be good. Rich Stedman, thank you. Richard Tobin, Sharon Trimble, Bob Walker, and Richard Williams. And yes, Dana? I forgot who? Hold on. Where? Underneath Gatta. Where's... I can't find Gatta. Oh, I'm sorry. There it is. Terry Headley. I skipped right over you. You're on the list. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the convention. We hope you will make this a regular trip. We've been through this before, and we're about to go through it again. If you have attended at least 5 CALLERLAB conventions, please stand up. No cheating. This is what we're going to do. I want you to remain standing until the number exceeds your years of previous attendance. Does everybody understand? Everybody's 5 now. 10. 15. 20. 25. 30. There's no need worrying about it, Mr. Mayo. You ain't going anywhere. 35. 40, 41, 42, and 43. Those that are still standing, and if you're not, stand up and you know who you are, have attended every CALLERLAB convention since 1974, and please identify yourselves as I call your name. John Jones. Jim Mayo. And Melton Luttrell. Now you may sit down, but don't get comfortable because you're about to get up again. On this 43rd anniversary of CALLERLAB, we are also very pleased to have 7 members with us who have served as chairman of the board. Please hold your applause until I have read all the names, and then as I read your names, please stand up so we'll know who you are. From 1975 to 77 and 2001 to 2002, Jim Mayo. From 1979 to 1981, John Jones. From 92 to 94, Mike Seastrom. From 2004 to 2006, Tim Crawford. Typical Tim. He's on Canadian time. All right. 2006 to 2008, and from 2010 to 2011, Tim Mariner, who I know is here, yes. 2008 to 2010, John Marshall. 2013 to 2015, Barry Clasper. And let's give these folks a round of applause for being here. But don't get comfortable, you're about to stand up again. And finally, of the 117 callers who attended the 1974 convention 43 years ago, 5 are with us today. Would you please stand again and be recognized as I call your names again, and everybody please hold your applause again until I've read all the names again. Marshall Flippo. He's with Crawford. John Jones. Lee Kopman. Melton Luttrell. And Jim Mayo. And let's give these folks a round of applause. Let us all stand for a moment of silence, please, for those callers and partners who are no longer with us. CALLERLAB wishes to honor those CALLERLAB members who have passed away since the 2015 CALLERLAB convention. During their lives, each contributed to the square dance activity and to CALLERLAB. Please take time during the convention to remember them and their families. Butch Adams from Virginia, who started calling in 1960, joined CALLERLAB in 1988. Chris Chrysler from Texas, who started calling in 1972 and joined CALLERLAB in 1975. Gene Fetta from Maryland started calling in 1983 and joined CALLERLAB in 1988. Dave Haas from Connecticut started calling in 1953 and joined CALLERLAB in 75. Dick Henschel from California started calling in 75 and joined CALLERLAB in 1981. Bill Horst, California, started calling in 1987 and joined CALLERLAB in 1988. Lucille Ems from Pennsylvania started calling in 1983 and joined CALLERLAB in 1993. Roy Lieber from Pennsylvania started calling in 1973 and joined CALLERLAB in 1991. Chuck Meyer from Arizona started calling in 1960 and joined CALLERLAB in 1975. Emmanuel Spickard, Virginia, started calling in 1999 and joined CALLERLAB in 1999. And Bill Terrell from Tennessee, who started calling in 1966 and joined CALLERLAB in 1992. This list represents individuals for which the Home Office has been notified of their passing. If we have missed anyone, please accept our apologies and let us know. Thank you. You may sit down now. At this time, I'd like to introduce the newly elected and re-elected members of the board. Would the newly elected board members come forward as I call your name? From Colorado, Bob Riggs. Please come to the forward, Bob, and turn around and face everybody else. You're the only one that's going to have to do that. Al Stevens from Alabama. I lied, you're going to have to do it too. Would the board members who were re-elected to a 3-year term please come forward? From Illinois, Bob Asp. From Florida, Bill Boyd. From Texas, Deborah Carroll Jones. California, Eric Hinterlaw. Nebraska, Mike Hogan. And from Massachusetts, Ken Ratusi. As I introduce the incumbent members of the board, I'd ask them to stand in place and join in the taking of the oath of office. Massachusetts, Clark Baker. From Oklahoma, Scott Bennett. From Germany, Walt Burr. From New York, Mike Callahan. From Canada, Barry Clasper. From New Jersey, Betsy Gata. North Carolina, Patty Green. From Maryland, Bill Harrison. From Canada, not Texas, Jerry Jeston. That's an inside joke. From Texas, Vernon Jones. Virginia, John Marshall. New Hampshire, Jim Mayo. Colorado, Bear Miller. Pennsylvania, Tom Miller. From Florida, Bob Pointer. From Florida, Jerry Reed. From Tennessee, Justin Russell. And from Canada, Dottie Welch. And this year there are 3 board members retiring from the board: Betsy Gata from New Jersey, and Walt Burr from Germany, and Scott Byers from California. And now to administer the oath of office, Executive Director Dana Schirmer.
Thank you, Vernon. Board members, please repeat after me. I state your name. Accept this position of trust. As a serious responsibility. And pledge my services. During my term. On the CALLERLAB Board of Governors. I will put the welfare of my fellow members. Before my personal feelings. I will support the decisions of the majority. And abide by the CALLERLAB Code of Ethics. All this I pledge as my support of the ideals of CALLERLAB. Congratulations, board members. Mr. Chairman.
The CALLERLAB Appreciation Awards were first presented at Virginia Beach in 1992 and have been presented at every convention since that time. It is presented to show CALLERLAB's appreciation for volunteer work in support of CALLERLAB. The award reads, "In grateful appreciation of your dedication and service to CALLERLAB by giving unselfishly of your time, energy, and knowledge to support the goals and ideals of CALLERLAB." This year, the Appreciation Awards were delivered with your convention packets. Much of the work of CALLERLAB is done by our committees. Dedicated committee chairman and vice chairman are the people who make it happen with the committee structure. Some of the recipients could not attend the convention, and their certificate will be mailed to them. Your executive committee has approved presenting appreciation awards to outgoing committee chairman and vice chairman, and I will ask the award recipient to stand. Vice chairman of the Mainstream Committee, Bear Miller. Hold applause, please. Past chairmans and Professional Conduct Committee, Elmer Sheffield, and I believe they had to cancel out, correct? They had to cancel out at the last minute. Margie has gotten sick. Shozo, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going too far. Chairman Ways and Means, Gary Felton. And Chairman of the Youth Activities Committee, Justin Russell. And Shojo Nishimuro was unable to attend, but Vice Chairman of the International Advisory Committee. Thank you for your hard work. Let's give these people a round of applause. All right. The idea of CALLERLAB conducting caller training sessions at the National Convention was first proposed to the NEC at Anaheim in 1976. Plans were already in place for 1977 in Atlantic City and 1978 in Oklahoma City. The first CALLERLAB caller training seminars were held in Milwaukee in 1979. CALLERLAB has staffed these seminars since that time. Last year in Springfield, Massachusetts was the 36th year CALLERLAB has provided caller training seminars at the National Square Dance Convention. CALLERLAB would like to recognize our members that have given of their time to help with these popular and important sessions at the 64th National Square Dance Convention in Springfield, Massachusetts. I will ask the award recipients to stand and remain standing when I read your name. Ed Foote, Randy Page, Betsy Gatta, Ken Ritucci, Tim Mariner, Bear Miller, and Jerry Story. One other coach was unable to attend this convention, Tony Oxendine. Let's give these people a round of applause and thank them for their hard work. CALLERLAB and the Foundation had a vendor booth at the 64th National Square Dance Convention in Springfield, Massachusetts. The home office was very ably assisted by Royce Dent and Dana Schirmer. Thank you for those two. We had requested members attending the convention to help out if they were attending the convention. We had requested members attending the convention to help out if they were attending the convention.
Texas.
If you didn't catch it the first time, you got it the second time. Several members did stop in at the booth to help. I will ask the award recipients to stand and remain standing when I read your name. Bob Asp, Bear Miller, Tom and Cindy. I guess we know who Tom and Cindy is because there's no last name on it. Okay, it's on the other page. Turn the page, you'll find it. Henry Grissett and Sharon Golden, Bob and Ann Pointer, Paul and Mary Ellen Cote, Patty Green, Betsy and Roy Gatta, Tom Miller. Oh, there's the Hollenbergers. There are the names on the back of this age. Dottie Welch, Mike Callahan, Ralph and Mary Ann Cornegay, Ken Ritucci, Bob and Alan Riggs, Dennis and Judy Grossnickel. Did I get that right, I hope? Bill Harrison, Bill Clasper, Ray Wiles. What did I say? I said Bill Harrison and Pam Clasper. I wouldn't have done that to you. I would have rather done that to me than done that to you, Pammy. I'm sorry about that. And Ray Wiles. The following were not able to attend this convention: Shelley Lizotte, Lawrence John Stone, Scott and Aaron Byers, Dee Dee Doherty Lottie and Bob Lottie, Steve Green, Wanda Callahan, Mike Huddleston, Brian and Debbie Freed, Cecil and Barbara Burton. Let's give these folks a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you and congratulations to all of you on your appreciation award. At this time, I would like to bring up to the front Mr. Mike Seastrom.
Thank you, Vernon. Good morning. I'm here to talk to you this morning about the Guild of Pride. How many members in this room right now are members of the Guild of Pride? Stand up. Let's give these guys and these gals a nice round of applause. The Guild of Pride's mission is to promote, proclaim, and practice the most ethical and legal methods for acquiring, maintaining, and protecting one's ownership in the use of recorded music for teaching and entertaining. Pride denotes professional, recorded, instrumental, digital entertainers. And any of us that really use recorded music in our teaching, in our entertaining, need to be part of this organization. And basically, it's just that we stand up and we say that we're going to manage our music in the most ethical fashion that we can. And it's simply a way for us to stand up and say that we can do this ourselves and police ourselves. There's some big organizations out there that would love to take some entertainers and make some real big examples out of them. And so I think that if you need additional information, there is a website, theguildofpride.org. The executive director, Sharon Frank, is Sharon here with us this morning? Sharon, stand up. See Sharon sometime at this convention, get an application, and join. There's a card that you'll carry as a member of the Guild of Pride, and also you'll be posted on the website. There's a second level of membership that involves going back through all of your recorded music and the music that you use, and making sure that all of that is paid for and managed in the right way. But joining the Guild means that you subscribe to this philosophy, and from that point on and moving forward, you'll manage your music in the right way. So I encourage you all, and again, a nice round of applause for those that have already joined and are on the website and on with us. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Mike. The Convention Planning Committee felt it was important to make a presentation to the attendees at this convention on how to defend against identity crimes and fraud. We all know about that, and most of us have been victims of it. In doing so, we have asked Dennis Farrar, a CALLERLAB member from Sun City West, Arizona, to speak to you today and give you insight on how to protect your identity. Please, at this time, welcome Dennis Farrar.
Good morning. Well, I think in your packet it says people that steal your identity are actors. I'm not so sure that's true. They're criminals in my opinion. But anyway, I would like to talk about some identity theft. It's actually happened to me and probably many of you. Let me start off by just saying protecting your credit cards. I mean, everybody has one, right? I mean, at least one. I got one. I will say this, the more you have, the more risk you are. Criminals have moved into cybercrime because they know it's low risk and the payoffs are much higher. Criminals buy an 800 number, then have it forwarded to their cell number, and then call you, leaving a voicemail saying there's a problem with your account. So you call them back, and they ask you to verify your Social Security number. It sounds legit, so you do it. They got you. Don't ever do that. 1 out of 4 experience identity theft. Age and income has nothing to do with it. Just having a Social Security number puts you at risk. So this means your kids are even at risk, or grandkids. Are you at risk? Absolutely. If you shop online, fill out medical forms, fill your taxes out online, you're at risk. Just recently, I don't know if you heard this on the news, but it's just been the past week or so, the IRS, and we all know them too well, just had a data breach. It's much bigger than they thought. Hackers were able to get transcripts. This is a site you can go on the IRS and get your transcripts if you're buying a house or something like a big item, and you can get your transcript right offline. In May of 2015, approximately 114,000 taxpayer accounts were hacked. By August 2015, as many as 334,000 taxpayers' accounts were hacked. And more recently, February of 2016, as many as 724,000 taxpayer accounts were hacked. They intend to take care of this because the hackers are using your bank accounts to get you to answer personal information questions that were on the transcript forms that you filled out. The possible culprit is there was a known 6 out of 13 approved companies that filed your account, your taxes, did not pass the criteria, and that's where they think the culprit is. The IRS has notified all the hacked accounts, taxpayers by mail, and is offering them free protection for 1 year. I know. Did you know that? Did you know that the IRS has just been hacked? I mean, it's amazing. Over 100 million Americans have had their personal data exposed. And of course, I remember back years ago, we didn't have this problem because we didn't carry plastic with us. And in fact, I just saw before I come up here that everybody's got a cell phone. You're kind of married to it. You're going to keep it with you all the time. Now you're going to be able to go into your bank and put it up to the ATM, and then you can put your password in and then draw money out. You don't need, eventually we won't be carrying plastic. I mean, that's how technology is moving. A new victim of identity fraud happens every 2 seconds. Every 2 seconds. 1, 2. So you can see it's a big problem. You must be proactive to take necessary steps against this problem. Nearly 50% of American adults have been affected by data breaches. What do? We don't use proper passwords or secure enough passwords. Use pet names, you use wives' names, you use, something that people, and it's not very long, it's just real short because you want to remember it. I mean, this is another seminar on how, passwords. I mean, how do you protect yourself? I have a spreadsheet on my passwords, and what I do is I date them on Excel when I made that password. Then I sort it by the date. So then I go back down through there on my Excel. Of course, the count is, the Excel is password protected too. But I go through there, I sort it by date and say, I haven't changed this password for 4 months. I think it's time. So I change it, put a new date in it. Then when I resort it, it won't appear at the top anymore. So try that. Limit your or avoid public Wi-Fis. How many use public Wi-Fis at the airport when you're waiting for your plane? I mean, it's fine, but you don't want to, do your banking or anything like that on public Wi-Fis. You think they're secure, but they're not. People go into places and they have these little portable Wi-Fis that carry, and you'll see like choice 1, choice 2, or whatever it is. You don't know if that choice 1 or choice 2 is a one that somebody brought in and just connected. So now you're connecting to that, and you're thinking it's secure, but it's not secure. And so you log into it, and now they got your information. Limit the amount of credit cards you have. I have one. I don't know why people need more than one, but some people do. I don't like to. My wallet gets too big. I don't like that. I'm guilty of this next one. Limit your social media. I know people on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. They feel like they have to have all these things. I'm friends on Facebook with many of you, but if I get a Facebook telling you want to be my friend, and you're already my friend, chances are you've been hacked. I mean, you're already my friend. Why am I getting this? What happened to me back when I was back at the kids' house about 2 years ago, I was on my annual tour, which I start in April and usually go until mid-July. I was back at my daughter's house in Minnesota, and I thought things were pretty cool. I settled in, got on my computer, checked my email, and I got an email from my bank saying, your credit card could have been hacked, may have been hacked, we don't know, but in 5 to 7 days, we're going to issue you a new card. So effective as of May 15th, your card will no longer be valid. And I thought, this is really cool. I don't get home until mid-July. What am I going to do? So what I did was I didn't, when it said down at the bottom of the email, for further information, you click here. Well, the link was about this long. And you couldn't, it looked like a chicken walked across my screen. I couldn't make heads or tails what it was. But you got to be proactive. Don't be click happy. Don't click on those links. I got on the phone, called the bank. I said, did you send me this email? Yeah. I said, well, and I told them the situation. I said, I'm at my daughter's house in Minnesota. What do I do? Well, what they ended up doing was sending me a duplicate card. And they said, we'll air overnight it to you. And I said, well, you don't understand. My daughter's in a small town in south central Minnesota. It's about 1,700 people or less. They have one bar, one restaurant, a couple gas stations. And I said, and this is 2:30 in the afternoon. And I said, you don't understand. I don't think I want to get it tomorrow. And I went back and forth with them. They said, oh, no, you'll get it. You'll get it. Well, all right. 8:30 the next morning, the doorbell rang. There was my FedEx package. I got my card. I couldn't believe it in a small town like that. So just remember, if you think you've been breached, your credit card company is all too eager to give you a new card because they deal with millions of dollars a year with credit card theft. You don't want to take a chance, and they don't want to take a chance. So if you think you've been breached, do it. Also, what I do when I go shopping, several people probably have this, Apple Pay, Android Pay. I use it wherever I go because what happens is you use the NFC on your phone, and you put it on the credit card thing, and it goes beep, 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 and it gives you a little check. And the merchant does not see your credit card number. It assigns a random number to your credit card, and that's how the merchant gets paid. I can turn right around, go back in the line again, and it'll assign another number. That's how secure it is. So use it if you can. Some of the people that have that are McDonald's, Walgreens, Subway, Sprouts. Many of your medical facilities now are offering that. Best Buy, gas stations. So use that if you can. Are you held responsible for your credit card theft? No. But it may take years to straighten it out. I want to talk a little bit about zero liability. Anybody know what that means? Zero liability means if your credit ATM or debit card is lost or stolen, federal law limits your liability for unauthorized charges. Your protection against unauthorized charges depends on the type of card when you report the law and when you report the loss. Some of the credit card companies that are offering zero liability loss are, and you probably have some of these banks, they're big banks, Chase, Bank of America. The one I didn't really understand was Barclay Card. I don't know what that is. Some of you may know what that is. But they offer zero liability. In other words, you're not responsible for anything that you didn't charge. I'm going to skip a little bit further because tomorrow I'm going to be moderator for credit card theft. We'll be covering some things on that. And if you want to attend that, that's fine. I'd like to hear from you. You're going to have questions maybe. Or we would like to hear from you if you've done different things. We'd like to hear what you've done in protecting yourself. One of the things you can do is don't carry your cards in your wallet. Carry it in a separate place in your purse. One of the other things I'd like to cover, because it's not only a credit card that we're involved in, it's our cell phones itself. I mean, I'm sure everybody in this room is married to your cell phone at some time or another. Protecting your cell phone. That same year, when I had my credit card breached, I had my cell phone hacked. I left my daughter's house and I was going into Pueblo to do a square dance. I'm sitting in the living room of the people I was staying at, and I get a call from my daughter from Minnesota, and of course we had just put our kids on our account. It would save them money. You'd like to help your kids out, so we did. I get a call from my daughter saying that, and my son-in-law, he didn't want one of those fancy dangle phones. He wanted a flip phone where he could just text and call somebody. So he didn't get one. He got my daughter's old phone, the hand-me-down. So she calls me up and she says, I think we have a problem here. I says, what? She says, well, I just got a call from FedEx, and they want to know what apartment number to drop this iPhone off in Bronx, New York. And I went, yeah, we do have a problem here. So I got on the phone and called my cell company and told them what was going on. It took me a day to get that straightened out. Oh, they also tagged to my account $380 of free money, to use as they wanted on top of that. But it took me a while to straighten that out. So remember, your cell phone, and of course it's my fault. I've had a cell phone for a long time. I never had a password to my account. All I used was my social number. That's all I used. Well, they got me. Now I have a passcode to the account. And I told my daughter, no offense to you, but they're not on our account anymore. But I said, no offense to you, but I've changed the passcode again. So change your passcodes. Don't be, I know it takes a little time, but get your spreadsheet, change them often, Here's some steps that I recommend. Dana told me to take 40 minutes, but I don't think it's going to take that long because you all want to get out of here. I recommend you take these steps before it happens to you. Number one, select quality passwords to your accounts. Your password is the easiest way for a thief to get into your bank and important information. It's better to be safe. Have a different password for each online banking account, credit card, email, and social networks. And change them often. That time limit is up to you, how often you think you need to do this. But do it. Don't use your children's or sweetheart names or dog names because they can figure it out if they know your dog name. Another thing you can do, and I don't have it written here, but I hate it when I get an email and they've CC'd it or they've added everybody they want to send it to in the to box. And now I get all these other emails. You realize all those people they send that email to has got your email address. So blank carbon copy, BCC, yeah, BCC, blank carbon copy. Always use a firewall. Absolutely always use a firewall. Make use of software tools. Many of us have, McAfee or whatever we have on our computers and stuff like that. They all are available on your cell phones as well. Be aware of emails from people you don't know. I mean, I can get people that want to friend me on Facebook I don't know. I told my wife, I said, I don't know this person. And she says, well, she's pretty good looking. I said, well, yeah, I know, but I don't know this. What'd you say? Oh, that's Scott Bennett. Side joke. So remember, don't friend somebody just because they ask you to. Look for the lock when you're surfing. Look for the HTTPS. Because I believe it's not what you buy on the internet, it's who you buy it from. You can buy a lot of things on the internet, and if you buy it from the wrong person, you can be hacked. Monitor your credit card and banking statements carefully. When I leave on a trip, and of course my wife, in the beginning when I started doing this after I was breached, I said, what was this charged for? Do you remember this? Oh, yeah, I bought some thread at the store or something. I said, well, you checking on me? I says, no, I'm not checking on you, but, I'm just making sure that we're okay, we're covered. That's my job. Surf safely. Navigate away from whatever it is, site, suspicious. Thank you, Dana. Suspicious. And quickly click away from anything that's on it. Don't be lured in as that this is, you won't believe this, LOL, check this out, And I even got a thing, how when you go up to Facebook, you see all this stuff on your right-hand side? Well, I got an app for that. It blocks all that stuff. So I don't even see it. I put that on my wife's computer, too, because she gets in trouble that way. Because it takes you to places you don't want to go. And these people buy ads on that Facebook trying to lure you in. And what happens, they get you, and then it downloads a software program that you don't want, and now you can't get it off. It's tough. So be careful. Give out your personal information sparingly. Don't click or add anything that's not required. If your phone number is not required, don't give it. Decide on whether you want the company to share your information with others. Check the box to opt out if you don't. Keep track of your children, or in our cases, grandchildren's online. Kids' internet activities could put them and you at risk, especially if they're using your computer. Get off mailing lists for pre-approved credit card offers. And please, don't throw them in the trash. Shred them. Anything that's got information about you or your name or whatever, shred it. And I recommend a cross-cut shredder. If you don't have one, buy a single shred. You can buy them places for, $50 or something like that. Shred that stuff. Keep drawers and doors secure. You know, people can't steal it if they can't get into it. Like I said, use a crosscut shredder. Documents that contain key personal information, account, passwords, PIN numbers, social security numbers, and birth dates, you have to shred those, because if the wrong person gets a hold of them, then you get hacked. And let me tell you something. 4% of all the identity theft is done by dumpster diving. People, you know, are looking, well, I don't know what they're looking for when they dumpster dive. Maybe they're looking for food or something. But anyway, some of your medical places will even, you'll hear nightmare stories about how some medical system threw out stuff and they found it out in the trash or in the dumpster. 4% is done that way. So shred all your information. Like I said, keep an Excel spreadsheet on all your stuff, on your passwords and counts. You know, I avoid from using O's and zeros and lowercase L's and ones in my passwords, only because they look alike. Don't be lured into watching that video just because somebody on Facebook says it's cute. You know, you won't believe this. It's too funny, or some words like that. Don't leave your computer on the internet if you're not on it. You can always go back to it. You know, if you're on the internet and your computer's logged in and you're on, you know, whatever your site you're on, you know, just because your ISP has a secured site does not mean that you're secure. You know, get on there, do your business, and get off. I get an email from all my bills. I pay all my bills online, and you may think this is crazy, but I pay them all with my phone. When I find out what the charge is, I get on my bank, I log in, I pay it, and boom, I'm gone. I can do it in less than 10 seconds. Chances of me being hacked are pretty narrow in that 10 seconds. But if I stay on it or stay logged in, then I'm creating more risk for myself. Like I said, go back to it if you need to go back to it. You can also use Credit Karma. You can get a free credit report every year. So, you know, get a free credit report and check your credit out, or how to improve it. It'll also give you ways to how to improve it. Like I say, protect your PCs. Don't stay logged on if you don't need to be. Refrain from using connections that are not secure. I can give you a story. This actually happened. A friend of mine who's actually a former caller, he retired. He did get his 50-year in Vegas a few years ago. But his neighbor had a car parked out in front of his house in our retirement area, and his neighbor went out there to find out, with a light on it, he went out there to see who was out there. And Ted had told me this. He said, there was a kid in the car, and he said, I'm just checking my email. Well, of course, I'm gone 3 months out of the year on a calling tour, and when I got that, I thought, you know what? I need to check to make sure my Wi-Fi at home is secure, because my wife is there by herself. Well, I think so anyway. She is. She's probably in the sewing room right now. Anyway, so, you know, and if you have a Wi-Fi at home, secure it. Don't leave yourself wide open. Secure it. Have a passcode for it. But he was just checking his email, so I said, that's it. I gotta make sure it's secure. When traveling, refrain from using, like I say, airport connections, because that could be one of the culprits. And never do your billing or any personal information when you're doing stuff at the airport. Nothing. Don't do that. Don't do that. In closing, I would like to say this. As technology moves us forward, so must we. Although we can't protect ourselves 100% of the time, take measures on what you can do to help protect your identity and share with others what you do to protect yourself. Together, we can, well, we won't fight it, beat it, but we can at least have some chance. Protect your electronics. I would like to thank CALLERLAB, Dana Schirmer, for asking me to speak on this very important subject of our time. Also, I'd like to thank you for attending, and I hope what I presented here this morning was helpful and you will leave here knowing that you have other options in protecting your identity. As newer and faster-paced technology moves us forward in the future, this will give us all more choices. Therefore, we will be better equipped to keep our phones, computers, and other electronic devices running better. Hopefully, this will give us less frustration as we move forward. I welcome your comments, your questions, and concerns, so please feel free to talk and share with me if you like. Happy computing and surfing, and thank you, and enjoy your convention.
Good job, Dennis. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you. How many of us have ever been victims of identity theft? Yeah, quite a few. It's not fun. The last one that I was involved in, I was in my truck at home. Well, not at home, but I was at a car wash, and I used the card to get a car wash. And as I'm sitting in the car wash, my phone went off, and I picked it up, and it was the bank people, and they were wanting to know how I had just purchased a car wash in Azle, Texas, and not 15 minutes earlier, I had purchased 250 gallons of diesel fuel in Florida. Florida. Yeah, you three. You're welcome. Now we know how that dadgum motorhome of yours moves around. So it's not a fun thing. A lot of people have been through it. It's not a good deal. Dennis is going to be leading a seminar, I believe, today or tomorrow on this very subject, correct? If you're interested and want to learn more about it, please attend. There's one thing that I want to do before I get Dana up here. This question has come up several times in the last couple of days and by several different people, so I think we've done a very poor job of making this information known. A lot of people, most of you are aware, if not, you're fixing to be, that the Board of Governors comes in a day early and meets and has board meetings. The board meeting started yesterday at 2 o'clock and went until 10 o'clock. Is that correct? About 10. It was too late. I know what it was, whatever it was. And then right after the Wednesday general meeting, the board will reconvene and then meet again Wednesday afternoon. And that has gone upwards of until Tuesday morning sometimes. It seemed like Tuesday morning. Thursday morning. And a lot of people are not aware that those meetings are open and they are not closed. Now then, sometimes we have to close them if we have to talk about sensitive issues. But for the most part, those meetings are open and people are welcome to attend and observe. And so we just want to make sure that y'all are aware of that. If you have the, what is the word I'm looking for? If you have the desire to see how your board in action after you see it, you won't have that desire anymore. But if you have the desire to see the board in action, those meetings are open, so please attend. At this time, bring up Dana Schirmer, Sooner, whatever your name is, and do some house cleaning.
Thank you, Vernon. Thank you, Dennis. Very nice. I want to follow up on Dennis before I go into the script. CALLERLAB home office, I stress to the employees all the time, service, service, service to our members, our activity. And one thing I should point out, we get hundreds of phone calls a week. We get thousands of emails a week, literally. And I'm not exaggerating. We do. One of the service we provided for many years, going back to Florida and so forth, has been we kept credit cards on file. And we've had people calling, oh, you got my card on file. We have ceased doing that, folks. Not because it's a problem for us to service you. It's a risk for you and us. And so I'm sorry that it might be inconvenient for you to call in and say, just put it in my card. No, we can't do that because we don't have your card on file anymore. We try not to have them on file. So I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but realize we are doing it for your protection as well as CALLERLAB, because CALLERLAB could be held at risk for having your cards available. So please understand that when you call in, we're not trying to be non-servicing. We're trying to protect you. Okay. Guidelines for conducting committee business and voting during a committee meeting. Committee chairmen have been provided a list of committee members. Committee members must be on committee 30 days prior to the convention to vote on committee business. Committees cannot override a decision made by the committee by mail. Any votes taken at committees at this convention must be submitted to the entire committee for approval before they are binding. If there's anything in your packet missing or wrong, your badge is wrong, whatever, see the registration desk up on in Claremont. Anyone interested in running for the board would probably want to set in one of the meetings first, but may pick up a petition at the convention registration desk. In order to run for the board, you must have been an active voting member a minimum of 3 years, must obtain the signatures of 25 active voting members. Candidates will be given a few minutes to campaign during the general meeting on Wednesday morning. We'll be voting for 9 board members this year. Petitions will be turned in. Petitions may be turned in at convention registration desk in Claremont or mailed to the home office before July 1st of this year. You will need to submit a biography, resume, and photograph to the home office by July 1st of 2016 in order for you to be on the ballot. All intercessions will be recorded by Convention CD Incorporated. Very important that you use the mic if you have comments or questions to be made. If you don't use the mic, your comments will not be on the recording. Each intercession's room will have a remote microphone. If you're in the room and would like to pass the mic, please volunteer with the moderator. An order form to purchase recordings can be obtained from Claremont. I believe you might have one in your convention packet. If not, see Claremont. These recordings are a great way to extend your attendance at the conventions. You will be able to hear the sessions, all the sessions that you missed. Again, this year, CALLERLAB has arranged to purchase the entire MP3 master and offers these to the members at $25 a set. Also, the EC this year has approved us putting these recordings on the website. So they will be available on the website if you do not wish to purchase have the convenience to have them. MP3 CDs, you can download them from the website. Committee sign-ups. If you wish to sign up for a committee, the sign-up sheets are at the registration desk. See the staff. Again, the committee chairmen have been provided a committee list. If you're not on that list, check with them, and then you can determine if you want to be on the list. This year, Tom, you still here? Tom Miller, Shauna, Carrie, and several others are going to try to help the foundation this year a little bit more. They're going to conduct a raffle. It's a split pot, I guess you say, pot of gold. They're going to have a series of raffles as well as the pot of gold. So see one of those. They'll probably have those ready during the break time, either this morning or around lunchtime. But we will have something going there. Tom or Shauna, you have anything you'd like to add to that? Okay, just see one of them, or anyone running around with a bunch of raffle tickets. In your packet, you should have had a critique sheet. As Vernon mentioned earlier, these are very important to our planning committee. You may think that your comments are not being read. I can guarantee you I have been on many EC committees and planning meetings, and these do get read because these EC members are actually quoting people. They said this. We ought to be doing something about this because this person brought it up. So it is important you fill out these, and they do get read. Now, whether the action gets taken or not, it will be determined and discussed. But if you, on those critique sheets, please hand them in by Wednesday morning. If not, make sure you mail them in right away because I do send them out to the executive staff just as soon as we get back. There will be Board of Governors informals this year. Check your schedules, but we will have 2 sessions, one on Monday and one on Tuesday, where you can meet with board members, and they do bring their comments and suggestions back to the board meeting on Wednesday to tell the board what has been asked of the board or suggested to the board. Schedules, right now, room changes. I have no room changes to report other than our Wednesday morning General Assembly, which was shown in the program book to be here. It's actually going to be moved down to Poplar, just down a couple doors down. We do have birds of feathers. Check your schedule there. If you wish to do a bird of the feather, please see Donna or myself because rooms have to be scheduled if we want to have a bird of a feather. Lunch today will be the first of your 4 meals, and that'll be down in Poplar and, no, I can't remember, Poplar right down the hall here. Your badge is your meal ticket. Special meal tickets, if you have a special diet, should have been in your packet. If you do not have one, see Royce, and she will take care of you. Royce or Donna. Today? I'm not really sure. I think it's pork. I don't care. Yeah. If you don't want pork, you better let Royce know. You just lost your meal. Okay. When you're in the banquet room, please, for the safety of the staff and your fellow attendees, do not tip chairs up to save them. If you wish to sit with somebody, walk in together and find your seat, but do not tip chairs up because it can trip the staff, it can trip attendees. Please be cautious we don't want to hurt anybody. Let's see if I've got anything else. It's a little early, but I think the coffee and the drinks, the water, so forth, will be out here very shortly. If we do get out there and it's not there, just wait. They'll be out there pretty shortly. But those will be the first of your breaks. We hope you have an enjoyable, educational, and pleasant convention. If you have any problems, like Vernon says, see Donna. Yes, sir. I'm getting there. Give me time. Give me time. Between Vernon and John, I tell you. I know where you get it from. Your badge is your meal ticket for all convention meals. Remember, no badge, no food. Thank you. Have a good day, folks.